Hi friends, welcome back to the Patreon. Hopefully the construction outside isn't too loud. I have my mic right here, so hopefully it will block that out. It's been pretty good lately. Today I'm going to do a requested video which is about color grading. I put up recently, if you're part of the Discord, I put up two lots of photos showing before and after I do color grading. I don't know why I'm moving to this side. I have all this screen here. So I wanted to kind of step through the importance of color grading and why I use it, because you don't always have to use it, but I do want to explain in this video. If you're into technical stuff, you'll probably find this interesting. If not, I'm sorry. But I hope you do find it interesting, because it can change a lot, and I'm very much into color grading. That's why, well, not like technically myself, like I do a little bit of it obviously in my videos, but I just like looking at different colors and how they work with the schemes in movies. So I guess this applies to that a little bit. Anyway, so it starts with, if you can see right now, this where I'm using my webcam, and did you just see it just get a whole lot brighter? So the reason I have to use color grading, and a lot of people don't, because they have everything set to a default setting, I guess, or something that works with them with their lighting in their rooms or their, wherever they're filming. They have like a standard. For me, I work with, I have a softbox, but if I work during the day, I also work with natural light. So as you can see during this clip, with my light changing because of the natural light going behind the clouds and coming back out, I need to change my lighting on my camera, my white balance, which is where you see true white. So that's exactly what a white balance is, but it is what your camera picks up to be true white. I need to set mine just to a preset so that when the light comes in and out, it doesn't change what whites are in what my camera's picking up, so it doesn't keep changing. So I'm going to show you an example. If that made no sense, don't worry, I will show you an example. So I have this clip from a past video. If you can see the background here, you can see me drinking water. This is a raw clip. It's kind of changing. I'm not sure if you can tell, it's quite subtle here. There might be some really dark spots. I do remember this video got quite, there you go. Me looking at my screen and coughing. But if you can see that compared to back here, it feels like it's like a completely different tone. And that's because the sun is going behind the clouds and I'm filming during the day. So if I'm not filming at night, I don't have control over my lighting. So I need to set this is not done in this video, but usually what I would have to do is set it to a certain preset so it stays consistent throughout. Sorry, I should add, the reason I want it to stay consistent throughout is so that I don't have to chop and change every single little clip. So you'll see I do color grading once for my whole video, just at one time, and then I can copy and paste it on every clip. But if it keeps changing the whole time, I have to adjust it so it works for every clip, no matter how dark or bright it gets. And as you can see here, it depends on how the sun is involved, if that's the right word, in your clip or in your footage, as to what tone it gives off, which changes the white balance. So super light or like candlelight would be very orange, or later in the day would be blue. So that's what's changing the tone as well as the brightness. But, and I know what people are probably thinking, anyone who's done like anything technical before knows that you can set it manually to something that would make my whites look true, like I can set my white balance. But I just find working, because I work with LED light and then also natural light, I find that it's really hard to get the preset correct. I look too orange or too blue, so I end up changing it anyway. So here is a clip from, see, you can see I look very green. Here is a clip from my Mike Flanagan video, and yeah, as you can see, I look very green. But what's happened here is that the lighting is consistent throughout the whole video because I set it to a preset. So to rectify that, when it's brought into the edit, one of the things I have to do is edit it. I have to edit the color. So I'm working obviously within Premiere Pro. So my process for this is, I guess anytime during the edit, I just go into You go into window, you go into color, then it pulls up the color workspace. So there's a couple of things I do personally that I like how it makes my video look. One thing you can do is just manually go in to a basic correction, which is changing, see this WB, that's exactly what we're talking about, white balance. So this you can actually like select, I guess maybe my teeth would be white. There you go. And there you go, it's correct. But I like to just kind of like grade it myself. And then you all have personal touches which you like to add to your videos. So I'll show you how I get my look. The main thing that I do for my videos is I actually go into creative and I use one of the looks, like the preset looks. You'll see, but I turn the intensity all the way down. So I think it's like, yeah, this one, the Fuji F125. I find it makes it look a little bit more grittier. I don't know, I kind of like that look. So what I do from here is kind of like pull that down a little bit. So this is the intensity of this preset over the top. And then my number one thing I do is, I used to hate when people did this to their Instagram photos, but I don't know why, I just love it in video. I pull the faded film up. That, I feel like it gives my videos like a soft feeling. Like that's without it and that's with it. And I don't know why, I just think it looks more polished. But this is way too dark for me. Something that people like when they're watching videos is it not to be super bright, but for you to see your face. So I pull the exposure up. This obviously brings up the lighting. My contrast I usually go a little bit opposite with, where a lot of people would go for contrast. I go a little bit opposite because it kind of softens my face. I bring up the highlights a little bit, but I mean, it's all like, you can play around with these all day and there's not gonna be an issue if you chop and change. But yeah, I pull up the whites. I just kind of deal with what I'm like wearing at that time, what it looks like. The blacks, obviously if you pull your black out, it's gonna have that faded look as well. So I pull that out a little bit. And then one thing I really like to do that I think adds an extra, pizzazz to the video is adding a vignette. So this can be a little bit awkward because sometimes it comes out weird depending if you're using a certain preset. But I love putting a little vignette just to kind of see how that like just gives me like more of a border. So you can do a white one or a black one depending on which way you go. But I prefer like a little black one, and it's just to get the corners, and it just really frames your face, I feel like. So you can feather that out, which means it just kind of smooths the gradient. So that's really how I do it. It's a super fast process. But as you can see, if we just go back into my normal workspace, it's that. So that's where we started compared to that. There's really no contest from that to that. It just really changes your whole video. So if you are ever worried that your footage comes out like this, don't worry, we can fix it. It's so simple, and you saw how quick that is. So just from there, what I do is I just copy and paste the color. That's the color grading right there. Sorry, my face is in the way. Right here, I just copy and I just paste that like any other effect onto all of my other clips. And there you go, it's all there. It takes a while to render, but obviously it just, yeah, that's how I sustain the same kind of look and feel throughout my videos. Okay, just because that was a bit fast to get through, I don't know if I rushed through it. I'm sorry if I did. I'm just so used to doing it. I do want to explain what scopes are to you, because you may have seen these kind of these graphs before, and they do look a little bit daunting. I mean, I don't use these top two, but I just want to explain what they are, especially these two, in relation to getting your picture to look balanced. And I think that's really who it's for. It's for people who want the coloring and the lighting to be balanced. So this is incorporating light, which is the white ones, and then also the colors, which is RGB, which is green, red, blue, but it's showing what color and what lighting is where. So that's actually this picture here is that. So you can see how I have this big ball of light there. That's what is raising this up to be this level. So if you want your light to be balanced throughout the whole video, that's when you'd be looking at, pulling up your exposure, see how it's changing, pulling up your exposure up here, and balancing it out the other way, which, I mean, it's a little bit too far gone now. It's not like, I mean, I could put another light source there in post, or you can just bring your highlights up. But this is, how you balance everything. So you can see here I'm favoring on greens and reds, and there's a little bit of light. It's uneven, which I think is fine. I think with horror, it's not like we're going for an even kind of coloring, so that's not really a big issue. And you can see here, this is when they've separated the red, green, and blue. And you can see again, the red is more favorable. And so if we go into our little creative part, where are we going? Let's go into curves. You can see I can really manipulate how much red goes into my picture, and try and make these, so that's going into green, try and make these as even as possible. Let's see what happens when I make them like even. It kind of looks like how it was before we corrected it. That's just what that means. Hopefully I explained that properly, but all in all, it's really up to you and what your camera does already. I already know how my camera puts out stuff, so I know how to correct it in a way that I like the way it looks. And you know, what you prefer, what you want it to look like. Some people want it to be super contrasty, and I mean, like, you know, you can get like a real horror look where the shadows are high. Well, I guess the shadows are there. The highlights are low, the shadows are high, or mid, and give it like that kind of look. If you want, I look so unimpressed. Or really like cool look. See, that's kind of more horror, I guess. Yeah, there's just so much you can do with tones and really change the look and feel of your footage. But again, it depends what you're filming on. If you're filming on an iPhone, there's not going to be a lot of different changes. Although some people don't know, but you can get a preset, like an app on your phone, or you can change the settings as well on your iPhone to film in 4K and do that all the time. So you're going to get more quality out of it, and you're going to be able to play around a lot more. So if you're using a webcam or whatever, you know, like what I'm filming on now, there's no real need for me to go in and change all these little things. But yeah, that's an example of like how different the stylization can be and how different the vibe is. But hopefully that gives you a better idea of how I do color grading, because I just think a lot of you were just curious about it. So hopefully that explains it. And obviously I use this I'll just open Photoshop quickly as well, because I know a lot of people are probably a little bit more aware of Photoshop. So here's my latest Photoshop project. It's my thumbnail for my latest video. And again, if I click on my layer, which is me right here, I can change, you know, the brightness, and this is the same as changing the exposure and the contrast. I usually do turn this up a lot on in thumbnails, like it's just meant to be more attractive to the eye. And again, you have the color balance here, which is the same thing we were looking at before, where again, we're just playing around with the shadows, midtones, and highlights. And I just go for a different effect here. I'll just bring in the raw photo so you guys actually know what the original photo looks like. That's how much I've changed it. So to do this, I mean, this is not really meant to be a thumbnail tutorial, but I will select subject, which that selects me. I cut me out, and I paste me, and then I'll just make myself a little bit bigger so it goes over the top. And then it is a whole lot of the way I correct this is, I mean, it's not really color correction, to be honest, it's enhancement. Sorry, my email just went off. It's enhancement for sure in this one. And people find it's meant to be more, when I say attractive, I mean like people are attracted to click on the thumbnail, not attractive as in you're an attractive person. More attractive to the viewer if you have a bright and actually deeply contrasted thumbnail. So you'll find I put the fade up on my videos, but in thumbnails I'm all about trying to make it bright. Also having a lot of negative space, so putting me really bright and getting rid of like my skin texture actually does well, because when a thumbnail is too messy, people don't tend to want to click on it. So you see I have all this negative space, but also like negative space, like if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I'm just trying to make it more clean and concise. And then I'd go into my color balance, and because I've chosen this background, I want to pick something that is, I actually always do like tinge my shadows to be blue. And yeah, I'm just gonna make it a little bit blue, like it's kind of reflecting off and maybe a little bit magenta, so I kind of fit in with the coloring. I'm just trying to match the coloring in the background. Yeah, although I feel like I always need to go a little bit more red because I'm so white. So I hope that makes sense. So that's like the basic of coloring. It's pretty simple. You really just need to get in there, have a feel around, and figure out what works with your camera and the way you set it up. So the presets or whatever you use. And I redo I do color grading for every single video separately. So I never copy and paste from the last video because things can be different. I can put my softbox in a different place, all that kind of stuff. But hopefully that makes sense why I do it. I don't think it's completely necessary for everybody, especially if you have your own technique down. But for me, it is necessary because it brings a lot out of my camera. And this is a whole different thing, but I've actually set up my camera so it is better to enhance it after the fact than what it is to record it, if that makes sense. It's got to do with the way I've actually set up the presets for the camera and what it records itself. It records a little bit more dull, and so I can like spice up what I want to. I guess I should have also said when I do my grading here, if I do find I feel too red or too whatever, I definitely go in here and bring down the saturation, or even in the creative bar, I bring down the vibrance. So I'm looking a little bit like black and white, but sometimes I feel like that, I don't know, it makes it a little bit more easy to watch than someone who's like got like big red skin. I don't know. I'm probably reading into it too much. Anyway, lots of cool stuff you can do. Go have a play around. Don't be scared to play with your footage and find a new look and find a look that suits you. And hopefully you guys found that interesting. I'll talk to you all very soon. Thank you so much for supporting me. Let me know if you want to see a video. This was requested by Liam and Tanner, I believe. Let me know if you want a video about whatever, about my channel. I'm always happy to share what I know with you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay spooky. Bye, friends.